Are you ready to Friday? Because it is a happy Friday, America. So happy to be back in this last weekend of this month. We got 4th of July coming up, so last episode before Freedom Day, and we're definitely looking forward to that. Tuning in to another episode of Happy Friday, America. My name is Arthur. I'm really happy to be the MC on this episode. I'm going to crush it. Across the table from me, I got Kevin Belly Button Deflator Batstone.
Happy Friday, America. Hope everyone's having a great week. It is end of June. We are on to July. The 4th is coming up, of course. This will be our last episode before the 4th, and then we drop the day after the 4th. So let's kick this weekend off right, Art.
We're going to kick it off right with some American history. 1779 final draft of the Declaration of Independence is submitted to the Continental Congress, and then we all know what happened on the 4th. They signed that bad boy in. They signed it in.
Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.
Absolutely. And moving forward in history to 1870, U.S. Congress creates federal holidays. So everybody obviously loves this, but it's only for federal employees at the time. And the ones that they threw in were New Year's Day, Independence Day, Thanksgiving Day, and Christmas Day. One thing that I got to say about holidays and things of that nature is that our neighbor up to the north, Canada, has like double the holidays that we do in the States.
I mean, we're getting a little carried away with some of these things we call holidays anymore. Mm-hmm. Not everything needs to be a holiday where we shut down for the day. Like, it's okay to have, like, Flag Day. We don't shut down for Flag Day. Mm-hmm. President's Day, it's kind of hit or miss. It has been throughout the years. MLK Day's been kind of hit or miss. Like, the original four I agree with, and probably a couple few others like Memorial Day, of course.
So would you rather have every holiday off regardless of the holiday, or keep it as is?
As is.
Really?
Yep.
See, I'm going to go, I would rather have holidays off. I was about to say, America, you need to step it up to Canada with these days off and all the holidays.
Get back to work, people.
Kevin does not agree with that statement. There's a couple things that happened in 1902. U.S. buys the U.S. buys the concession to build the Panama Canal, and they bought it from the French for $40 million. So this is something Kevin and I were talking about.
Yeah.
Also in 1902, they authorized the Louisiana Purchase Expo for $1 gold coin.
One gold coin.
Yeah, is like how it read and how I had to transcribe
in 1902,
it.
yeah.
Yeah, so maybe because there was multiple deals, they got the Louisiana Purchase for like a lesser amount. But either way, the United States was busy in 1902 getting some land, becoming a superpower, potential superpower.
Doing some negotiating along the way.
1910, the first airship, which was more than likely, it was like a Zephyr. So those were like the hot air balloons. It was called the LZ7-Deutcheland, and the very first one actually gets stuck. It gets stuck on some trees, injuring one of the crew members on there. And then I wanted to put this one in here because, like, what's going on with Fort Knox anyway? Like, is there anything even in there anymore? Well, in 1935, FDR orders federal gold vault be built in Fort Knox, Kentucky. So I'm sure there's all these conspiracies around Fort Knox that would eat up the whole episode if we really
Probably. But FDR, getting the gold in there. Who knows how much gold is still in there? Who knows if gold is going to hold its value?
Who knows? That's today in history. What we got next, Kev? You got NASA?
Yeah, NASA has kind of scripted up. I don't know if they utilize AI or what, but they're basically, testing some scenarios that could take place in, a reasonable amount of time, within the next 15 years, 14 to be exact. NASA's planning for a doomsday scenario with a 72% chance of an asteroid hitting Earth in 14 years. Now, this thing would be completely massive, Art. It would be between 100 and 320 meters in size, which is quite large. If it were to hit, it would do some mega damage. One of the reasons that this article even came up is that we had two asteroids the size of about Mount Evans, Pikes Peak, for those who aren't familiar with mountains, like a 14 or so to speak, pass through the atmosphere, this week. No threat of hitting us, but it got NASA thinking.
Not the atmosphere.
Or I'm sorry.
It was like.
Yeah, out, way out there.
Okay.
Many, many moons away, if you will. But still, it was something they were keeping track of however many years ago. It passed by, but I got them thinking, well, what if this shit did fucking come in here and whap us? So they started like assembling a disaster team if this were to happen. Like, what would you do?
So what you would do is go back into like the early 2000s or 90s and you rewatch Armageddon.
That's a great movie.
Because that, my friend, is how you stop an asteroid from hitting the planet.
So you're saying you use that as the kind of the go-to book for what to do in that scenario?
No. But yeah, You nuke it.
Just blast the son of a bitch. But in any case, pretty good read. So scroll down and check this article out. There's a whole lot there I'm not going to get into. But basically, they ran through a bunch of circumstances of what ifs, what could happen, how would we respond, what kind of team would we put in place.
Yeah.
Obviously, NASA would be able to see this thing. It's not like, oh shit, here it is. We have no time to prepare.
All we need to do is get a bunch of amps, music set, and have Aerosmith show up.
Yes.
And then all of a sudden,
and then we're good.
We're gonna be fine.
We could have an asteroid party.
If Aerosmith is playing at the NASA station, that they're solving this problem, they're gonna fix it, no problem. With Armageddon playing in the background too.
I mean, that might be the way.
Come on,
Armageddon asteroid party, 14 years from now.
I'm with it. That was a good one. It had me nervous when I first started reading it because I just read the segment topic was that we were planning for a doomsday scenario potentially, and then as I got into it, I realized
it's good to be prepared.
It is good to be.
It doesn't necessarily mean we're going to utilize all the preparation.
Yeah. But
preparation is the key to battle.
Yes, and everyone's going to be. If people are out there shitting their dick, they're going to be looking at the people who are prepared.
You got to use protection when necessary.
Absolutely.
If necessary.
And there's many forms of protection,
including not shitting on your neighbor's house.
No, there's forms of protection called HOA.
Yes.
And occasionally an HOA member just might defecate on the side of your house. So
that's where that hard-earned money's going to for the homeowners association.
All right. No, so this one's funny. This one's coming out of New Palestine. And so a retiree who's part of a board member of an HOA was found defecating on the side of this man's house, okay? And when initially confronted, they denied the accusations and said, no, there's no way. And they're like, oh, yeah, well, actually, we also got you on video. And more than just once, got you on video twice, defecated twice next to an AC, an air conditioner on the side of a house. So apparently it was like a 72-year-old woman who was doing this. Like, I thought it was it was a 74-year-old. Originally, I thought it was going to be a dude, like, before I got into the article.
It just seems like something a man would do because we're a little more grotesque.
Yeah, but apparently it was a 74-year-old woman that was part of the HOA. She actually lived in the neighborhood. When she actually confessed to doing it, she said
broad daylight.
Oh, I just couldn't hold it. And she was, like, pooping, like, pressing against the house.
She had a mission behind
onto the house.
Yeah.
Type of thing.
Was she mentally stable?
I mean, she was an HOA board member.
Well, that doesn't mean she was mentally stable.
I don't know.
You ever seen those HOA members? They're not well.
I know, but at least she's a board member or something.
Yeah, well.
So she could at least like sway a room maybe a little bit, but she couldn't sway the cops or the video evidence of her pooping on this guy's next to his AC unit. She's no longer a member of the HOA over there of that committee.
That went ahead and seized her.
I will say that. And I'm not too sure what's happening with her or what, but it's just a ridiculous story. Apparently, the homeowner whose house was getting defecated on, he did have an ongoing dispute with the HOA. I'm not too sure in what that was regard to. He never had recognized this member of the HOA committee either. So there's kind of some layers to it, unanswered questions, but a good article nonetheless.
Very interesting article. I mean, look, I think everyone has a story who has been a homeowner. I've never owned a home personally, but I have friends that have. I've been around. I've seen these HOA guys get really excited. They almost take their authority a little too seriously when it comes to enforcing some of the HOA things. So who knows what the back and forth was. I don't think no matter what you do, it doesn't really result in shitting on someone's HVAC unit or on the siding of their home. It's just unnecessary.
Like, you couldn't hold it twice in the exact same spot, and that was just like the safest looking place that you could
just shit
find.
over here as a 74-year-old woman.
Yeah.
Disgusting. You should be ashamed of yourself.
She should.
No tolerance.
But if you can slap a potato and maybe build a Mr. Potato, you shouldn't be ashamed of yourself.
This is true. Kev's Random Records this week. No David Rush this week, although he is up to something.
He's going to be coming back.
He's up to something. Stay tuned next week. I made a prediction. We'll see if it comes true. So this week we have a man from Ireland, a young lad of 20 years old by the name of Declan McFerrin. He decided to take on the Mr. Potato Head world record. Okay. Assembling Mr. Potato Head. So there's a whole technique that goes into this. He was practicing it, up until the moment of testing, being timed.
Yeah.
Having the people there. The pressure's on. He assembled Mr. Potato Head in 5.15 seconds, okay, which was shaved off 0.28 seconds from the previous record, which is a lot here when we're talking about assembling a damn potato head.
Anything in racing, really.
Anything in racing. I mean, 0.28 could be the difference of 20 positions on a racetrack. So in this case, it's the difference of being on the leader of a Guinness Book World Record. So he had a whole system to do it, with the head, with the arms, with the legs. It was kind of choreographed on the assembly.
I'm like picturing him over here. Like
I couldn't find a video of him doing it.
Okay, but that would have been golden.
I know, but hopefully there is one out there. So take a look at the article. Pretty cool. 20-year-old out there in the solid lad land, getting it done. McFerrin holds the record. How fast do you think you could do it, Art?
It would probably take me okay, so my first attempt, if I was trying to go fast, I would inevitably mess up more. So it would actually take me longer to try to go fast. I would have to learn how to do it slow. I'll say 12 seconds.
12 seems like a fair guess.
I'll double his time. I feel like that's fair going.
And then maybe get it under 10 if you tweak it.
Yeah.
I feel like if we can get it under 10, we're in good shape. But I could tell you last time I fucked with a potato head.
Well, I'm excited for David Rush, but I'm happy that I didn't have to hear something else of his nonsense this week. But more to come.
Rush will be back next week.
Yeah, the random records, that's a staple to the show for sure. And another staple is the Would You Rather. Can you hit us with last week's recap, please?
All right, so the results are in. As everyone knows, you can go to our Twitter X profile at HappyFryUSA. Every Friday morning, these go up, and they run for 6 days. You can take the polls. Last week, we asked the people, if you had to make one go away from existence, would it be social media or mainstream media? 100% of America unanimously said they would get rid of the mainstream media.
Really?
They're getting rid of the news. They're keeping their unnecessary nonsense.
They're keeping the binkies.
Keeping the binkies. Hashtag.
Oh.
Yep. Gotta have the binkies. They're keeping the news, man.
Yeah. Your two happy HFA co-hosts here are not happy with the answers there, guys.
Can't say I'm surprised though.
What's going on with that?
I'm not surprised.
What's going on with that? You don't know what the Would You Rather is for this week.
I do not. It's not in the script.
It's
not here.
No, it's not in there, and I do appreciate everybody contributing. Even if we don't agree, it's still a lot of fun. So the Would You Rather this week is, you're a time traveler, okay? You can either travel 100 years into the past or 100 years into the future. But here's the caveat, is once you travel there, you're stuck. You stay. So are you traveling 100 years in the past or 100 years in the future?
I'm going in the past.
Okay.
A couple reasons. One,
okay.
I've always said I wanted to have been born in the 50s and lived that lifestyle, kind of like my parents did. Best cars, the best music, the best rock and roll scene, all that. But so if I'm going back 100 years, that's 1924. That's during alcohol prohibition. Huge opportunities, because I'm going back knowing what I know now.
Oh, okay. We're making up some. We can make up rules.
Okay. Well, I'm just saying.
Because you're a time traveler. Yeah, so you do know what you know now.
Marty McFly.
No, you would know.
Marty McFly knows what's going on.
Yeah, you would know.
So I know what's going on. So I'm going back 100 years ago, and I'm inventing all the shit that is mega now. Okay. Because I'm at least going to assemble a team to get ahead of the Googles and the Amazons of the world, and even some of the cars. Right.
Okay.
I'm going back, and I'm gonna take that knowledge, and I'm gonna be the inventor of it.
Yeah.
Step over, guys. Yeah, Watch out, Jeff Bezos.
And at least you know the world exists.
Yeah.
At that time too. Like, who knows what could be in 100 years. So I'm gonna roll the dice on this one. I know as much history as I can. If I'm a time traveler, I feel like I would be a person filled with moxie and gusto, and I would just want to go see what 2124
You're going to the future
has to offer.
Man, there might be no humans.
There might be no humans.
You just show up and it's all like robotic. It's like the Terminator.
That would not be cool.
Well,
and what if you time traveled to a place like that didn't exist anymore and you just like warp into a rock?
It's like.
So at least in the past you would know like where you're, because we could get really detailed on this whole thing. Like,
I'm going back.
Yeah, going back. I'm going to choose going forward. Where would you go? I think the majority is going to choose the past here.
I don't know, maybe.
It's a little more guaranteed. The future is unsafe. We don't know.
That's true.
But even going back into the 20s, like that's into the 1920s, that's not necessarily safe either.
The littlest change could change the course of history, right? Like I could go to Dallas and be there for the JFK assassination and maybe stop it or whatever.
Yeah, but then what happens?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You could go back and change the course of history.
Yeah.
The future isn't really.
But you're never going back to the future, so it's not like it matters.
Yeah, you're starting there.
You're going back there. You're in there.
Man,
it would be kind of cool to go to the past with all like
the
technology and shit, and like you could like have a go bag, and you're like, I don't know, I kind of want to change my answer now.
No, you stuck. you said the future. I'm going the past. You're going to the future. Where are you choosing, America?
Yeah, let us know. What I got next is some good news. Well, it's actually something that a lot of people deal with, and that is emotions of anxiety or deep sadness. And this is a story of somebody who actually overcame depression and ended up making a successful life for themselves. So I feel like this was worth highlighting. Man with unyielding depression starts picking up litter and helps clear 13 tons of trash with families and strangers over the time that he's been cleaning up. So I believe the guy's name was Mark, and he was at the year of 32, he began picking up litter and trash. But he started to become depressed in his late 20s, and he was like hanging out next to a riverside, and this is in like Scotland, I believe, as well. Yeah, River Dawn. He was out there hanging out in Aberdeen, Scotland, and wanting to take his life. He was like next to the river thinking about taking his own life. He said that a phone call stopped him from making that decision. It didn't go into detail like what happened on that phone call, but it's important to reach out to people. Like if let's just stay in touch with people that we care about.
Yeah.
Like let's make some phone calls to friends. That could be a challenge to everybody listening in or tuning in. But either way, somebody saved his life there. And when he was sitting on the riverside, he noticed just all this trash and litter. And so this was a place he walked often. He would always walk by that spot, and it just like had like this darkness to him. Like, it was like, this was a dark place for me, and I'm still struggling. And then one day he just brought 3 trash bags, black trash bags down there, and started picking up. And on that first day, a cyclist went by and like saw him and like asked, "Hey, what are you doing? Can I help?" And then they ended up hanging out for hours, picking up this trash, cleaning up, ended up cleaning up a bunch of trash. And then he like started doing it like every other weekend and like started making it more regular. His family started to attend these to the point where he's posting on Facebook and like doing different group things, and people are showing out from the community to clean up. So on the first day, I believe they picked up like 660 pounds.
Wow. One
of the first days. They've picked up a total of over 30,000 pounds of litter. They've gotten over 5,500 pounds of metal off the ground of the riverbed. So they're doing all this work, and otter populations have actually swam upstream in this river for the first time in like 40 years. Our man Mike has a family now and is doing better, and I'm sure he's still dealing with some stuff, but he kept fighting. He did something to help himself clean an area up, like tidy it up, and then that motivated a community. And that's so interesting because, you have all this litter getting built up over God knows who long, and no one's doing anything about it. But then you see one person doing and moving in action, and it like causes this movement. And now they've picked up over 30,000 pounds of litter. That's almost as many pounds as carrier pigeons is carried through history.
It's a lot of litter, man.
That's a cool story. I wanted to highlight that one, man.
It's that's just a lot when you think about how much that is. But furthermore, the motivation that he got behind just taking a couple trash bags down to the riverside, where he once considered taking his own life, and then turning it around to cleaning up the community, bringing the community together. It's amazing what a phone call, what a little action can do each day. Even just being selfless, because that was a selfless act to go out there and clean up some shit.
It was.
That he probably didn't even contribute to as far as the litter is concerned. I doubt this lad was just throwing his Skittle wrappers around. But to go out there and do that, that's fantastic. We know mental health is a big issue, certainly in this country and around the world. So positive stories like that hopefully can motivate some people.
Absolutely. Definitely a good share here. And then kind of diving into something that does create some mental health issues and is a big one that you've been dealing with recently.
Yeah, alcohol, for folks that have followed my work for a long time, know I am overcoming alcohol addiction, and it's been a hell of a journey. I've always known what alcohol is. It's a long line of my bloodline, of course, and I'm happy to say I'm 1 month sober, so feeling great about that.
And that's awesome, man.
Yep, feeling good.
I know you're still in the beginning, but still, that's a good milestone to hit.
It is.
It feels good to do that.
It does. No, it really, really does. So just happened to be looking for some articles for the show this week, and happened to come across the World Health Organization, who I do take with a grain of salt. Any of these, health organizations, I kind of like to, just look at it and take it with face value. However, I do think there's a lot of truth to this article. So I'm not going to go through all the points here. Scroll down, take a look, read on your own leisure time. But look, a lot of this is just common sense. Alcohol, we know, contains ethanol, which is a psychoactive and toxic substance that causes dependence. Right? That's ultimately what it is. We know it as the liquid courage drug, the date rape drug, the most commonly used drug, the social butterfly drug, whatever you want to call it. Alcohol's been around for hundreds of years, and it has caused a lot of issues. It's gotten a lot of people laid. It's got a lot of people thrown in jail. Look, it's a blessing and a curse.
It does a lot of things.
It's a blessing and a curse. It really is. But furthermore, this is kind of a wild stat. So about 2.6 million deaths caused by alcohol consumption. This goes back to 2019. So let's just say annually, you'll kind of
around that number.
Yeah, kind of spitball a little bit. 2.5 million deaths a year by alcohol. Okay, 1.6 million of these deaths were non-communicable diseases. So in other words, develop naturally, like cirrhosis of the liver, things that come from alcohol consumption, not something that you can catch or whatever from somebody else. That's just a lot of deaths, right? I mean, and this is people that are actually kicking the bucket. This isn't folks that are living with cirrhosis of the liver,
currently
suffering, kidneys shutting down, organ failure, stomach cancers, all the things that can come from alcohol consumption is not good. Interesting here, the mortality was the heaviest amongst men. Now, I think a lot of that does go back to the fact that men do drink heavier than women, so that would make sense, right? When you look at men are going to outdrink women, on pound for pound, drink for drink overall, right? But that doesn't change the fact that women are also affected by this, but it was heavily affected in the male population. So, it really goes into a lot about, the health risk side of it. What I can speak personally for myself, like the digestive end of it. Just the overall mental clarity was no good. That's some of the things I experienced from it. Never quite got to liver cirrhosis. I think I got it in time. But, I think it's just a good reminder for folks that maybe are casual drinkers or, like to have a few beers a night. Man, it can really get a hold of you quick. And blood pressure, cardiovascular diseases really, really messes with the heart. On top of all the garbage that we eat in this country, alcohol and the garbage that we eat is just no good for your overall health. So, I'm not sitting here and telling everyone they got to quit booze. That's not what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But just know it's not a good substance.
Yeah. You know how I know we're getting old? Because we're starting to be more concerned and people are like, we're going to eat healthier food. We're going to cut out things that are unhealthy in our lives. We're going to cherish and nourish positive relationships and remove negative relationships. Like, we're mature. That's how we know that we're getting old, and making these kind of decisions and just looking through things differently does really make a big impact, because honestly, life has been better for me without opiate substance abuse and without alcohol substance abuse, because I'm guilty of doing both of those, and it's been better without both of those. Life is just so much better.
Yeah. And
you don't know that until you keep doing the wrong things. And then also all these health effects, sometimes you don't even notice it happening.
Right.
And then all of a sudden it happened, and then it's quick death after that. You don't realize.
Or a lot of folks are so sucked into the addiction, whatever the drug is, but alcohol specifically, that some of the physical ailments that they're feeling from it, they just kind of live with, me included. So waking up gagging in the morning, just things that aren't normal and healthy, but you're like, yeah, it's just part of, you just accept it.
Yeah.
Just like smokers, right, that smoke cigarettes are hawking up that black shit out of their lungs every day. That's not good. You know why that's happening. But again, it's not a lecture about, everyone needs to get off substances. It's just taking a look at what you're putting in your body. Evaluating what it can do. We all know the risks of what we put in our bodies, right? Whether it's the garbage we eat at the grocery store or alcohol, whatever it is, it's just good to kind of be aware of some of these things that can happen, especially as you get a little bit older. We partied our asses off in our 20s, or at least I did. I had my fun.
Yep.
I want to start feeling better. So that was the inspiration behind that article.
I really like that inspiration, and what you're doing right now is going to help more than just you, and that's a huge thing.
Yep.
So I what did I have there? Oh yeah, we've both lived enough to do a lot of the wild stuff, and now I feel like it's time to break all of the norms. When people there's all these norms that exist, and I just want to break all of them. And you can also quit substance and take control of your life by yourself. You don't necessarily need rehab. Some people do, but it all depends the severity. There is a freedom out there, and anyone can capture it, and you can handle things solo.
Yep.
It's possible. Being that solo warrior, you can get it done. You have to believe in yourself, and you have to have this urge and want to do it.
Yep. That's best said there. You have to want to do it. No one's going to force you. No one's going to hold you by the hand, drag you to rehab, whatever it is, until you made the decision that you want to make a life change. It's no good. I don't care what anybody says. So kind of a, just an interesting kind of touch-up article there. We're halfway through the year, just a bit over halfway through the year. So, making some life changes. Always a good thing to reflect a little bit.
It definitely is. Talking about some life-changing stuff that's happening in the NHRA world is John Force, unfortunately, hit the wall really hard during a drag race, and he's been in critical condition in multiple different stages. What's going on with John Force, man?
Well, so for those that don't know who John Force is, he's basically the Michael Jordan, the Tom Brady, the Richard Petty of drag racing, 16-time champion, 157 national wins. I mean, just incredible what this man's done. One of the nicest people you could possibly meet at the racetrack. He's a legend.
We talked to him.
Yeah, really, really nice guy.
He was cool.
Really nice guy. 75 years old. You know, some people say he should have hung it up a long time ago, but I don't care what age you are. Mm-hmm. If you were in that car when it hit the wall, you would be in the same situation John Force is. We're all thinking of him. He's currently, the last update here on June 28th as we record this, they've moved him from the intensive care unit to the neurological care unit. So more of a brain centralized focus right now, which kind of, there's been limited communication. They're keeping it tight. His family is by his side. Brittany, who currently competes in Top Fuel, is not going to race this weekend so she can stay with her father. It's a big deal because these guys are competing for a championship, you know, sponsors, what have you. But at the end of the day, your health is most important. Racing comes second. So, you know, John, we're thinking of you, of course. He's a solid lad. He's going to come through this. Serious head injury. I don't know if we'll see the man race again, but if he goes out this way, man, you know, as far as stepping out of the race car, it's been a hell of a career.
I mean, he's set the bar hella high. And, you know, the end is never pretty for anybody. And as long as you could full send own it and, like, in your prime, you know that you lived it, like, then at least he did it. That, I mean, his name is epic.
It is.
And he was racing like a maniac.
Yep.
So, wishing the best for you, John. Prayers and thoughts to your family, and wish the best for that situation. Let's move on to cool shit to do this weekend.
That's right. Another weekend is upon us. So here in Denver, Colorado, last night, Morgan Wallen played Mile High Stadium. He's playing again tonight, Friday night. It's a big deal. You know, anytime these country guys come to town, they sell out the arena. Massive arena, of course. Not my favorite venue to go see a concert at, Art. Morgan Wallen is not, you know, particularly my favorite artist on the current circuit. But, hey, I can't argue with success. He's crushing. He's one of the top artists in the country right now.
If you could get Mile High sold out.
Two nights in a row.
I mean, he's doing all right.
He's doing it. So I don't know if there's tickets left. Kevin James also in town tonight at the Belco. I think there's still some tickets left to that.
Yeah. Thinking about maybe going to that?
Probably.
Maybe?
We'll see.
Okay.
We'll see.
And hey, we couldn't leave out Justin Timberlake just because all this new stuff. Come on, let's still support our boy. He's going to be playing in Boston, Mass. tomorrow on Saturday. Definitely go check that out and show some support. Everyone's going through something.
That's right. And if you're out in New Jersey out there, nice and hot, humid weekend, they got the Rock, Ribs, and Ridges Festival going on. I kind of looked at this. This looked like a lot of fun out there in New Jersey. That's going on tonight. Get your rock and roll, eat your barbecue, hang out with some good old boys. Looks like a fun time. And then, of course, down in Nashville, the Music City, NASCAR is rolling into town all weekend long. Cup Series there on Sunday. Full weekend of racing. It's going to be hot as hell out here down there, hot and humid. Good Lord. Boogity, boogity, boogity. Let's go racing. I'm looking forward to it. I love it.
This was a fun episode.
Yeah.
I had fun recording this one. Definitely check us out on all the socials.
Yes, that's right. Instagram and Facebook at Happy Friday USA. Twitter X, like we talk about, where the polls go up and the promo clips, all the fun things. Happy Friday USA. If you're old school and you still use email, who's using email? Send us one, happyfridayamerica@gmail.com if you want to get involved with the show.
You know how I know we're getting old?
How's that?
Because I still use email.
I still use email, too. Email's a good form of communication, guys. But so who knows? We're getting out of here. Fricka Shan's about to rip Tater Chip. Enjoy your week in America. See you next week. Happy 4th.